Welcome to this session. We will look at the impact of Kanku's growth strategy of selling more of existing products and services to new customers on the business financials. In an earlier session, we saw how Kanku analyzed the strategy using the first two C's of the 4C plus E framework. We will now take that analysis forward to see how the strategy impacts the financial elements of the business, such as revenues, costs, and capital requirements. As we saw earlier, Kanku had an idea about the market size, namely the number of households in the adjacent locality. From that, she went on to estimate her potential market share. When she analyzed the needs of potential customers, she realized that customers need to be aware of her shop and they may prefer home deliveries. Kanku then analyzed the equipment, skills, and time required to be able to meet these customer needs. She concluded that she needs to purchase a cycle cart to make home deliveries, offer a promotional scheme, and hire one person to make home deliveries. Now, Kanku is ready to understand the impact of this strategy on the financials of the business. We will begin by looking at how she forecasts revenues. A majority of Kanku's current customers are from her locality. 80% of her revenue is in cash and remaining in credit. We can see the contribution of these to the overall revenues. Kanku is not planning to change prices. Hence, there will be no impact on the revenue from her current customers. Also, as Kanku's daughter has agreed to manage the shop on the days she has to accompany the college student for home deliveries, there will be no impact on sales. To attract new customers from the adjacent locality, Kanku makes the reasonable assumption that their needs and preferences will be same as those of her current customers. She also assumes that the revenue from the top 5 and other categories will rise uniformly. However, she is aware that attracting a target number of new households may take a couple of months. And also, the new customers may buy only certain items in the beginning. She feels that 80% of her revenue will continue to be in cash. Let's examine the impact of Kanku's growth strategy on the direct costs of the business. The major components of direct costs which will be affected by the growth strategy are the cost of purchase of the items she sells and wages to the part-time college student. Let's start with cost of purchase. The growth strategy involves increasing revenues by selling more of existing products by adding new customers. This means Kanku has to buy a higher quantity of products. This in turn means that the cost of purchase will go up. She is confident that she will be able to convince her suppliers to offer an additional discount on MRP as she will be buying more from them. Let's look at the monthly commission she will have to pay now. She is planning to pay the part-time worker a monthly salary and a commission on the revenue that he generates as a bonus. There is likely to be a small increase in the cost. Kanku plans to run a promotional scheme to attract new customers in the first month. She anticipates this cost to be a little high as existing customers may also come to avail free gifts. She plans to have this scheme only for a month. As it is not a recurring cost, it can be considered as other cost. Kanku's growth strategy will result in an increase in the cost of purchase of items every month. She will need to keep higher levels of inventory. She also has to pay salary and commission to to the part-time worker. All these will increase her working capital requirement. She has been preparing a cash flow statement every month. This year, she prepares a forecasted cash flow taking into account her growth strategy. We can see the revised numbers in the column titled Forecasted Amount. As you can see, the next recurring cash flow here is negative. This is due to the salary and EMI payments that are not adequately covered by the revenues. So, in the coming months, if the revenues are not enough, Kanku will have to raise additional working capital. Kanku has to now consider the impact of her growth strategy on fixed capital as well as working capital. Let's begin with the impact on fixed capital. Kanku needs a cycle cart. She has to evaluate the cost of buying versus the cost of hiring the cart. Even though buying is more expensive, she thinks of buying. She doesn't have much savings and the business doesn't have much cash. Hence, Kanku approaches a bank for a loan, mainly for the fixed capital. Based on her good credit history, bank agrees to give her a 3-year loan. Kanku uses the approximate method to calculate the EMI to understand the impact of the loan on the indirect costs as well as cash flows. We can see the loan amount, duration, interest rate, and the calculations for EMI using approximate method here. This EMI looks fine to Kanku now. Kanku has finished analyzing the impact of growth strategy on revenues, direct costs, required capital, and indirect costs. She is now ready to do break-even analysis using forecasted numbers. Kanku calculates the total forecasted costs of the business, which we can see in the table. She assumes that on an average, a household will buy items worth this value from her in a year. Based on this assumption, she calculates the number of households needed for break-even as seen here. This number is more than the number of her current household customers. Kanku realizes achieving this break-even volume is not going to be easy as the households from the adjacent locality are already buying from her competition. However, she is confident that her home delivery strategy and free gift idea will help her achieve the break-even volume in a few months. After doing the break-even analysis, Kanku is ready to prepare the growth plan. We will discuss that step in the next session.